Hi, and welcome to Screens and Focus podcast. I am Diana, and today we are talking Fear the Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 5, More Time Than You Know. Welcome to my live stream. If this is the first time you are here, Screens and Focus offers a unique perspective on our favorite TV shows and movies while offering recommendations on the latest and greatest out there. Okay, you can go to screensandfocus.com for my blog, which has TV and movie recommendations. It has my podcast there, along with being on your favorite podcast app. Also, you can get to all my social media there. Okay, so I am solo today, but I am really excited because I do have a co-host joining me next week to talk about the mid-season finale of Fear the Walking Dead and to talk about The Walking Dead Dead City that I am so excited about. You will not be disappointed. That will be a regular podcast episode that will release the following Tuesday. So I will not be live with Fear next week, but please look for that podcast episode because I think it's going to be a really good podcast episode. Well, I think all of my podcast episodes are great because I have great guests. So please look for that. And again, you can go to screensandfocus.com. Okay, but today let's talk about this episode of Fear the Walking Dead, More Time Than You Know. So we are seeing that June's treatment for Walker bites appears to work on Finch, appears to. And we also learn that Grace's cancer, um, from the radiation exposure that she had previously. So that is where this episode starts off. I'm not going to recap this episode because you watched this episode. I'm just going to touch upon a couple of the themes that I saw and also highlight a couple of the moments that struck me, impacted me, moved me, maybe say, what the heck, something. So I do want to talk about the themes because I don't know, I gravitate to what's happening with these characters, what's happening in the storyline, what does this mean? How do we relate to these characters and these themes? So the first one, of course, and this happens throughout the whole Walking Dead universe, but it's survival and sacrifice. And so in this episode, we see that Mo risks her own safety and takes decisive actions to save Grace from that walker bite. I mean, she's going to do anything that she can. She's like relentless. And I know she's supposed to be 8 years old. And I've mentioned before how apocalypse ages you up. But in my mind, I see her as a 12 or 13-year-old. And yes, even that age is very young. But of course, if you live in this world, you make adult decisions. And so I saw that with her, just doing everything she could to try to save her mom. And, she just doesn't go with what Grace wants or what Morgan suggests that they should do or, how they should do things. And we also see that Morgan puts himself in danger by accepting Shrike's offer because Shrike had seen what he had done at King County, being able to get rid of, kill all these walkers, basically single-handedly. And so she's like, I'm impressed with you, Morgan. So I think we could use you and we could make a deal. So you help me by getting rid of those walkers or carrions at the facility at Padre that are guarding those containers. There's thousands of them. So help me get rid of them. And then I will let June give treatment to Grace. Okay, what is he supposed to do? Of course, he's going to say yes, even though you don't want him to say yes. But they're moving this train car with, June's equipment. So they're not sure how to get there. But here's resourceful Mo figuring it out. At the same time, they're being chased by Padre people, and they are split from Dwight and Sherry. who also face these dire situations and make sacrifices to protect their son Finch. So we also see the theme of desperation and hope. Again, another theme throughout the whole Walking Dead universe. The characters are faced with these desperate circumstances and this urgency to help Grace. And, because she has this deteriorating condition. And you don't know how long you're going to survive after a bite like that. I mean, you get a fever, you get sicker and sicker and sicker, and you die. And she's not doing well. So they are thinking, oh, and she's already, she's being very um, pessimistic. I didn't want to use that word, but that's the word that comes to mind. Um, she's accepting her fate, but they're not accepting it. No, 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 because we have hope, because we can do this. So they're actively seeking solutions, and they're showing this resilience in the face of this adversity that they're facing. And we also see family bonds. That's a huge theme throughout all the episodes and this one. We see Mo's unwavering commitment to saving Grace. And, it's reflected in the strength of that bond that they have. And we see Dwight and Sherry, their action to protect their son at all costs and doing whatever they can. This is their child, and there's that parental child bond that I know that feeling. I have kids, so I know what I would do. I know what they're feeling. It's like you don't want to see any harm come to your kid. You're going to do everything you can to save your child. But in doing that, especially with Grace's situation, there's moral dilemmas to think about, because she has what she wants. She doesn't want them to put themselves in harm's way. She doesn't want anyone hurt. She doesn't want anyone's safety jeopardized. And she wants to spend the time that she has left being with her family, being with Mo, being with Morgan. And that's so hard. It's hard to navigate because you're in this apocalyptic world and you have to figure it out. But Morgan and Mo are on the same page. We got to save her at any cost. So there's just a lot of things to try and figure out and navigate. We also see, of course, the loss and grief, and Grace's impending death and the sacrifices made to save her highlight the theme of loss. And the characters grapple um, as they confront this heartbreaking sacrifices and the emotional toll it takes on them. It just makes me think of Morgan, just all that Morgan and Grace have been through, and all that Morgan has been through, and what we saw Morgan go through in the previous episode. And just everything that they do to keep your loved ones living as long as possible. I didn't know where this was going to go. I thought, oh, are they going to save Grace? I really thought for a moment they could. But then if they did, what would that do to the whole universe if you found that this radiation worked? If this radiation worked, then maybe every time one of our characters got bit, they could get this treatment done and they would be fine. And then that would, not that I want them not to live, but um, I don't know. It just doesn't seem feasible for a TV show. So, but I also wasn't expecting her to die just yet. I don't know what exactly I was expecting, but it was hard. I thought it was a sad episode in that regard. Karen David is just really good at what she does, and the moments and her softness, and just being a parent and being just a loving person. It was just, she played the character very, very well. And I thought it was really sad between Morgan and Grace when they were talking over the walkie, because right before the last time they saw each other, Morgan said, "I promise I'll make it back to you." And I thought, oh, I hate it when people promise things, especially in an apocalypse or anytime. Don't promise people you're going to be there because most of the time you can't keep your promise. But they are talking over the walkie-talkie, and he says, "I'm not going to make it back." And they profess their love to each other, which I just was so sweet, listening to the words that she said to Morgan and listening to the words that Morgan said back to her. Um, I just thought it was a really sweet, heartfelt moment. And then, of course, he tells her, "You know what you have to do." And when he said that, I thought that he was telling her, "You need to kill yourself." But that's not what she did. So I'm not really sure what he was referring to when he said that. So, and maybe she didn't have the strength to do that. But then, of course, she tells Mo, "If I die, you got to stab me, right?" And Mo's all, "Yeah, I promise." Again, another promise that's not kept. So please, writers, stop making people promise things that they can't keep. But before uh, Grace passes away, her and Mo have a conversation, and Mo feels really regretful now because now she's like, "Great, I took away the last moments of your life because I thought we could save you with this, and now we can't save you. I feel like I did what I wanted instead of what you wanted." But what I hope Mo comes to realize is that she gave Grace a gift, and I hope Grace was able to convey that as much as she could to Mo, because she does tell her about the time that her and Morgan, I don't know that she specifically says it, but we know that they were going to off themselves on that submarine, and then they heard the baby cry. And I remember thinking, you guys can't do that. You have to keep living. But they do, and they hear baby Mo. And so, of course, that is where the title of this episode, More Time Than You Know, because Mo was able to give them that time because they heard her cry. But the other thing that I wanted to say as a child, and as a parent, and with her being a child of Grace, she gave Grace the biggest gift because she showed her true character. She was able to show her that she was selfless, that she was brave, that she was independent, that she was resourceful, that she was giving, that she was loving, that she was human. And so, um, I think Grace was so thrilled and happy to have been her mother for just even that little bit of time. And I can feel myself almost getting emotional thinking about it because I am a parent and I know how I would feel in that situation, how proud you are of your kids. So I appreciated that moment. I thought it was really sweet and really well done between those actors. Of course, I am highlighting on the positive things because I know there are some things that you struggle with when watching Fear the Walking Dead. The writing isn't always on point, and some things seem a little far fetched. But I'm in it for the ride. I love this whole series. I love this world, um, and I'm committed to these characters. So I appreciate all of that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to bring up to you. Um, let's talk about a little bit of the ending. I do want to say that my favorite moment was toward the end. So, of course, Grace turns and she goes after Mo because Mo can't kill her. And they're struggling. They're struggling. I'm like, now you've got to deal with a walker on top of you. Of course, Morgan does make it in. He does stab Grace quickly. And I thought, wow, what a parallel, and how much it relates to how hard it was for him to, just in this previous episode, to put down Dwayne, and how he had to do that to save Mo. And now he has to do that with Grace in order to save Mo again. And just thinking about Ginny and just all of his background. And I thought, man, he's had to go through so much with the people dying in his life and then having to put them to rest. Oh man, Morgan. So anyway, that happens. And of course they go out, and Shrike and the whole Padre group is there. And of course now Mo doesn't want to face any of this. So I think she's basically kind of running away. volunteering to get rid of the carrion at where all the walkers, or sorry, I can't help but call them walkers, where all the walkers are at, get rid of all them by the container. So she goes off to do that. And of course, Morgan is devastated. He's, oh my God, I just lost Grace. I can't lose you. And of course, Shrike's all, aha, it's about you. It's not about what's best for your daughter. It's like, yeah, it is best for what is best for his daughter. It just affects him because he loves her and he doesn't want anything to happen to her and he wants her safety. But yes, it will impact him because he is the parent. So we see that part. And of course, he, fights the Padre people and he starts to run after Mo and Shrike trips him and he's on the ground and basically says, you aren't going to kill me. Or you can't kill me, or something to that regard. And Shrike says, well, why not? Oh my gosh, when he said that, it was perfect. I loved it. It was my favorite line of the whole episode. But he also said it with, being a little bit mad at that because he's tried to die before or kind of give up and he just keeps going and going and going because Morgan, you have a purpose. And I hope that you outlive season 8. That's what I have to say. So I hope that that stands true for this whole series of Fear the Walking Dead for Morgan. But the last thing I want to mention is that Shrike has him locked up into the train car and throws his weapon down on the ground. And I was thinking, why would you ever do that? It's like teasing someone. It's like, oh, just break out of there, get your weapon, and now you can come after me, which is exactly what Morgan is going to do. Never throw somebody's weapon right in front of them. It's like taking Lucille and throwing it right in front of Negan. Come on, you just don't do that. Anyway, gosh, I would love to know your thoughts on all of this. I would love for you to comment either wherever you're watching this, on YouTube, Facebook, or any of the social media, because I would love to know your thoughts on this episode. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen? How is the mid-season finale going to conclude? It is going to be over 2 hours. This is going to be the end of Padre? Are we going to see the rest of the cast? Come on. It's going to be the 6th episode. We must find out where everybody else is at. We have to, please. And I did like that we saw a little bit of Daniel, but not much, because he was not going to fight without those guns. He was not going to put his group in jeopardy. But how are you supposed to fight off all these walkers, thousands of walkers, without guns? I'm not sure. They're not that big of an army to fight off this many. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. I can't wait. I'm excited. If you have any thoughts on that, what's going to happen, please let me know before Sunday or after Sunday. It's okay. I'd love to hear your comments either way. All right. Well, I'm excited. I hope that you follow Screens in Focus. You can get there at screensinfocus.com. And I hope you have a fantastic day, weekend. I hope you have a fantastic Father's Day. And yeah, we get 2 shows from the Walking Dead universe this weekend. It's going to be a great Sunday. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.